Hi everyone, just got another update for you. Spent most of this bank holiday weekend and that tearing these two tubs apart sort of into usable bits and that, but I've had a change of direction now. The tub you're looking at now, this was going to be my tub that I was going to refit, take away bits and pieces and that off it and put the other wings on. But as you can see, the inside, the inner wings and that the arches and that very good condition, because it did have a liner inside it. But the downside is when you get to the underside, as I say, I did know the some of the bracing and that on the bottom, and that was rusted and that, but it's up in here, as you can see, the bits that you can't really get to and that are quite badly rusted. All this was gone and shot. This side, all of these strengthening panels and that all done. Sort of patching up holes in the floor wasn't too much of a biggie. And that taking these the bracing and that, the stiffeners off the bottom and that, but down the bottom here, this part of the floor, the rear bracing there, is just completely gone. By the time I'd cleaned it all up, it was just falling apart. So as you can see, the rust there is just gone and that. So, and then what was going to be my donor tub, obviously this was a Mark III which had been cut down to sort of try and fit an extra cab, and as you can see, all of these all in the back there, apart from, you know, a bit of surface rust. There's a couple of holes in it, as you can see, which the previous owner cut holes in to get to the bolts and that on the which bolts it down and that. So then there is a rust hole there, as you can see. There's a little one over there and then just a small one there, but apart from that, all of these stiffeners are all good. This is the stiffener that was on the back, where the rear back panel there, as you can see, bolts down to this. On the Mark V tub, this had completely gone, completely disintegrated and that, so that would have needed replacing. So what I've decided to do now basically is cut down the Mark III tub, and that, as you can see, the back ends gone off it now, and basically use this one and then put the Mark V wings and that on here. Because they were off anyway, it wasn't sort of too hard a decision. The only thing is these corners are a slightly different shape for the headlights and that, and so and just this profile here and that was just a slightly different shape. So what I did was cut the bottom bit off the Mark V here and just tack weld all that in and that, which this fits up better here then. But on the Mark V, all of this had gone, it just rusted out. All this was all rusted through all along the back here. These were all good, these ends here, so cut them off and put the two bottoms on. And these here on the Mark V, I think it's this side, maybe the other side, these were all bent in and filled in with Bondo. I think it's this one here, and that there must have been ½ inch of filler and that in there. So when they came off, just dollared it all back out then and that. So there'd be a slight bit of filler in there, but only a couple of mil thick, if that. And then the only thing I have to do is put the tops then back on, which you can see up here, these tops here and that are just a slightly different shape for the Mark V there and that. So again, I'll take that one off, take the other side off, just weld them on and that, and then, but as you can see, the inside and that, all this here, all virtually dent free, but there's the rust holes there. I mean, it doesn't look too bad from the inside there. That's the worst one, but this down the bottom, the floor and the stiffener and that had completely gone. The rear panels okay, obviously bits of rust there, but nothing too much to scream about. And then the only thing, I do have another rear panel which you can see, and that is all rusted through there, and that. But again, the parts are replaceable, so just got to make a decision on, obviously, because the rear panel steps in, and that, as you can see here, and that it steps in here, so it's not a straight cut all the way down here, and that. So we may cut this here all the way down, and that, and then just weld these in basically where that cut line is there, and that, and then cut the arch back a little bit more on this one, probably be, and that around here, there you go, you can see around here somewhere, cut it round there, and then just let them overlap slightly, about 1/2 inch, and then just weld it straight down. This here, we'll leave this extended, that there then will go on the rear panel, and that, and then just weld the floor back down to that. Then that gives me the shape, and that this was the rear panel that came out of the so-called donor tub. As I say, it's that shape there, and that, so rather than having to cut and scribe that in, it might be just as easy just to do a straight cut all the way across, and then just weld it on. And that, these on the Mark 5, a slightly different shape, and that completely disappeared, gone, rotted through, so I've left them on. I mean, they may reach the outside of the arch, and that, if not, we'll make up a couple of other ones. But as you can see there, that's what it was like, just completely rusted through there, and that gone. So again, it's no biggie, just to, I mean, it is in 2 parts, a part on the wing, and that, and then a part on there, and then it just bolts together. So again, it's only just a bit of folded steel and that, which we can do. But as I say, you can see on the Mark 5 here, and that is just won't worth. I mean, yeah, you could throw a load of underseal over it, hide it all, but the other one, and that, the Mark 3 tub, and that was just considerably a lot better. The thickness of the steel in the floor is thicker on the Mark 3 than it is on the Mark 5. So, but that's just an update, and that all of these on the other one, the Mark 5, all of this had all rusted through. So we just got bits of zinc primer on there, just sprayed it on, and that, well, it was easy to get to. But then all of this inside here is all solid, these are all solid. So when it's all put back together, then all of this in here, and that, all that will get 2 or 3 coats of underseal before the wings go on, and that, same with the floor, again, a good 2 or 3 coats of underseal, and that on everything, and that, then just to plate up the holes in the floor. These ones here, I might just cut a removable plate, because it is handy for getting into the bolts if required. But again, until we get down to the fitting and that of the tub on the chassis, because the mounts are probably slightly different, and that, new mounts to make, that on the chassis. So again, we'll decide then whether it wants the holes leaving and plates making up, that'll just screw down, or we'll just plate it all up, and then, because it'll be new bolts, we can bolt to it up underneath easy enough. But that's the biggest rust hole, is just that there. As I say, we'll just cut out the section, weld in new, and that, and job's done. But all of these, this is all solid, surface rust on it, and that, get the wire brush on the grinder and that on it. But apart from that, the sides and that sides are all good. And then the only thing I have to do, I have one donor panel, and then I think it's this one here. Then obviously this is just all rotted, and that, so we'll just fabricate a new section, and that folds some steel up. Might be able to use this here. This is the skin that was on the Mark III. Someone had got some sheet steel, made up some new sides for it, some new skins, and that we might be able to use some of that, and then just make up a template. It's got a slight curve in it, this has, so we could just make a template out of some plywood, and then just dolly it over the edge, and that there is a slight ridge and that in it there again, but as I say, for what it is, and that hopefully we can just form that slightly, and that, but whatever goes back in there will certainly be a lot better than what that is. And then again, all the inside of the wings, and that will all have a 2 or 3 coats of under seal, and that before they actually go on, just the bits that you can't get to. Again, it's all up in here, all the dirt and all the crap, and that always goes up inside here. So we'll see. I did see on YouTube somewhere somebody that actually filled all of this in. Once the wing was on, all this was all filled in with filler foam, and that just stops all the dirt from going up, all the water and the crud, and that, so that's possibly an idea there. And that, once it's all been done and under sealed, and that is just squirt a load of filler foam. It's only really this section here, possibly some up here. I do have some of the plastic liners and that to go back in, so they'll stop a lot of it, but it might just be worthwhile just squirting some of the foam up in there. Just stops all the dirt and that, and then but that is it. So we'll say bye until the next one. Possibly then have the rear panel and that on then, and be sort of and that, but with the next bit hopefully then a couple of days, but it'd be back to work now. Okay then, bye for now.